Dun, dun, dun!
You don't want to pump me up. I get pumped up by race better.
Coming for you guys!
Give me time, is all I'm saying.
Dquad! Liftoff! Yeah!
Yeah, hey, welcome to the Chapter 10 overview of the Liftoff Dquad Fixation Tournament. This is your boy Abdul coming at you with all the news of what is happening in my favorite FPV simulator, your favorite FPV simulator, Liftoff. Oh yeah, we are at Chapter 10 of this year-long tournament where pilots around the world are winning Dquad fixation frames left, right, and center, and one lucky pilot will win a year-long real-world sponsorship by Dquad themselves, the FPV Dream. Oh yeah, let's take a look at how Chapter 10 went and what pilots are in the running for that Dream FPV prize. We're on board right now with Mr. D, finishing number 6 in Chapter 10 and has broken his way into the invitational bracket for Chapter 12. Chapter 11 is live right now. Get on in there and get those final points so that you can score an invitation to that Chapter 12 Uber competition with pilots from around the world. Mr. D has fought his way up into that bracket of top pilots that will get invited for chapter number 12, and you can too. Go get that chapter 11 time in and score your points. Here is what the points look like so far for the pilots who've been competing all year long. You can see Mr. D pulling out fantastic performances in chapter 6, 9, and 10 to land him that number 9 spot. We've got Finzi, G-Man, and Fusel in that top 1, 2, 3 spot. They've been maintaining it through the tournament. Great racing by all 3 racers there. Surprise though is the Haka, some real Liftoff racing royalty. He competed in chapter number 1. We lost him for the rest of the year, and then in chapter 9 and 10, boom and boom, the Paka brought the boom and scored them points, pushing FPV Fly, our man down under, out of that number 4 spot, but not out of the invitational bracket. FPV Fly, we haven't seen him for the last couple of chapters. Looking forward to see how you do in chapter 11, mate. Of course, followed up by Mito, Shah FPV, Com Clark Cobb, Mr. D, who you just saw flying, and of course our man in Ireland, Revu. On board with Com Clark Bob, who pulled out a great number 5 finish in chapter 10, and if he hadn't, he would have gotten pushed out of that bracket. The competition in the lower 5 is really fierce, which is what leaves it open to you finding a spot in that invitational. Now they're flying on permafrost. It is Liftoff's second snowy map. It's not quite as big as Surtur, doesn't have any lava and active volcanoes, but it's still an absolutely gorgeous place to fly. And the track they're flying was a brand new track designed by the one, the only master of floater, Honk 83. The Fixation 1 track was never seen before, and it premiered for this chapter of the Fixation Tournament. The Chapter 11 track is also a fresh Honk creation, and the Chapter 12 track, oh, you're just gonna have to wait and see and get your points in to get that invitation to it. This is the part of the course that most pilots had the most amount of trouble with. I call it Honk's not a strained system of slaloms and pass-throughs right at the end of the lap, which caught out a lot of our pilots. And since God mode was disabled, oh, you have to know that the pressure was on. A lot of flow in this track, but he made it tough. This was a race for the top pilots. Honk knew it, and Honk made sure to put a bunch of challenge into the flight. Good on you, Clark Bob, for landing that number 5 position. Let's jump on up to the number 4 chap, Fusel. Now, Fusel has been consistent in his performance throughout, making sure that he gets a time in, making sure that he gets his points in every chapter, and keeps himself not only in the invitational bracket but also on the top. So he's got that point of pride going. Absolutely great flights as always by Fusel, doing a great job dealing with Honk's knot. Now the fun part of this was that most pilots, at least in the top bracket, we're going to see a couple of other pilots struggle with this in just a moment. The problems they had were in the final lap, so right before the end rather than in the first lap. That's got to be a real heart-pounding moment. If you're an FPV pilot, you know what I am talking about, and we're really going to see how that pressure affects these guys flying when we get to the Chapter 12 Invitational. Is going to be live, is going to be super challenging. It's going to be the top pilots in the world competing for that dream FPV year-long sponsorship. Let's jump on out to a pilot who is very much in the running for that prize. I am, of course, talking about Finzi FPV. Oh, boom. And you can see that Finzi brings the boom. Now, when we started out this tournament, G-Man was slated as our favy fave, and Finzi was his nemesis. We didn't know if Finzi was going to be able to push him outside of his comfort zone. But lo and behold, not only has Finzi repeatedly pushed G-Man off that number one spot, but he's also completely locked into number one in points, aiming to get 100 points if he manages a good finish in chapter number 11. Certainly someone that you want to watch out for in that chapter 12 extravaganza. Now here we saw a little bit more of those take your time and punch it through moves at Honk's knot from Finzi, which was more of his earlier style. And if you see the chapter 1, chapter 2 rips, but as you see, we've gone through the chapters. Finzi's made it tighter, he's made it tighter, he's made it smoother, and it has certainly shown in his flying. Here we go. Last time he goes around Honk's knot. Oh, he had a little touching there. He touched it again and still managed to push through. There's that champion's instinct for you. Speaking of champions, on board now with G-Man FPV. Here we go. This is going to be tight. This is going to be smooth. This is going to be a masterclass from the gentleman who finished number 2 in your Dquad Fixation Chapter 10. Here we go. Certainly someone you're going to want to watch out for, because not only is G-Man the pedigree champ of online simulator racing, he's also a real world racer, so he knows what those real world live nerves are all about. When it's all up, your knees are weak, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti, and everything is on the line for one race. We're really going to look forward to seeing that. But here, as we approach Honk's knot, you can see even he has a little bit of a run-in with Honk's knot. Now, God mode is disabled, so you know that he has to fight through the shakes, the wobbles, and the quad going absolutely mad as he rips through this full of flow course that is super challenging with these tiny gates, and just has like this little hump that, again, we see he keeps going. That's that champ's instinct that's really going to come in when it's one race winner take all. On board now with the man of the hour, 2 number 1 finishes in a row, jumping up into the number 4 position in the overall leaderboard, the Papa. Now, I was just talking about master classes. This is a master class. Look at how it actually looks kind of slow. You guys remember Top Gear? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and if it looks slow, it's probably pretty fast, despite those little touches that they had at Honk's knot. Chapter number 11 is even more challenging by Der Honk, and chapter number 12 is going to be a real trial by fire for these top pilots around the world. The Paka is going to be one of them. He's in that points bracket. His position is secure, but those lower 5 positions are still up for grabs. So I highly recommend get your radio out, log into my favorite FPV simulator, your favorite FPV simulator, Liftoff. Go to the Pro League and get your competition on. That's how you get better, by flying with people who are better than you. It's super fun. You get better with every run, and you make friends around the world. I look forward to seeing your name jump up on this leaderboard for Chapter 11 so that you have fun, get better, and get one of these fancy stripes next to your name. I don't know if you've noticed, but those are badges of honor collected by pilots through Liftoff Pro League wins and finishes. You can see those top 6 pilots up there. Triple goals. That means they have finished more than 3 Liftoff Pro League tournaments in a top 3 position. Epic pilots, but you see the lower 4 there, lots of green stripes, you got some bronze stripes, so there is a chance for pilots like you, for pilots like your boy Abdul down there with a number 59 finish and just one teeny tiny green stripe by my name to get in on the competition, to win and to get that pride, to get that progress, and to get those wonderfully great feelings that we get through FPV. As our friend Patrick Waddell once said, goggles on, problems off. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please leave a comment to let me know what you thought of these overview highlights, who you think is going to be the winner for chapter number 11 and for the chapter number 12 finale, and whether or not you got motivated to pick up your radio and boot up your favorite FPV simulator, my favorite FPV simulator, Liftoff. See you guys next month. Abdul, out!